Krishna Lakennini is a founder of digital marketing agency ROI MediaWorks. In his career, he's worked with more than 500 clients, including Fortune 500 companies over the last 15 years. He started as a programmer at a digital agency in England to implement digital marketing technology and content management solutions for companies such as Dell and Ladbrokes, which was used in 12 countries across Europe. Since moving to Kamloops 11 years ago, he has found a niche in digital marketing. His goal was to bring in lead generation and marketing solutions used by big companies to small business to create better return on investment. To date, ROI MediaWorks has launched 160 projects, implemented digital marketing campaigns, and have generated approximately $80 million in leads to its clients. Krishna, take it away.
Thanks, Jeremy. You know, we're like really in unprecedented ways looking at like how to monetize and how to leverage what's available. You know, I'll start with saying this, like one thing I keep hearing is COVID put us on a different timeline in terms of how we want to do things. And we don't have a choice anymore in terms of using technology, resources, or planning and whatnot. And when it comes to online, when you take like, you know, Google 10 years, it's evolved. It's almost like million years in the internet because the technology is changing so fast. So where I see exploring today is how business can really leverage and automate a lot of systems in their workplaces. So you're not consistently doing the same repeated tasks. And how do you optimize the sales funnel in a way that you are just lead scoring and optimizing the loyalty and whatnot, like really in a fine way that it's automated. Like, and bigger companies like Amazon and Walmart and all these companies are already doing. And these tools and technologies are available for small and medium business as well. Think about internet, like it didn't exist like back those days, you know, it was developed as a defense project. Now people are using it. Think about broadcasting, for example. Everybody who has a phone in their hand, they can make their own videos and they can record their own podcasts. So every company, every business evolved into their own media house and own marketing channels. And where the advantage is the people online leaving a lot of data. And when a business can capture that data and create their own ideal customer data sets and leveraging that better ROI, return on investment, is the key to long-term success. So I tell this to all my clients. Don't depend on Google. Don't depend on Facebook. You might want to check the connection settings in the Google Home app. Sorry about that. My Google Home just triggered. I said something. So how do we leverage those audiences without depending any big search engines or any broadcasting companies? You want to leverage what you have. And I'm going to just dive in terms of how you're going to set up some of those systems. And we're going to examine some of these sales funnels used by like the top coaches and whatnot. So I'm going to just start sharing my screen here. You can see my screen, right? Patty, all good?
You bet. Go ahead.
Awesome. So we will look into some websites in terms of how they are structured in a simple way, and then understanding some of these customer journeys, and then how that customer journey translates into a lead funnel for a business. And some of these lead funnels, if you're selling online, they're called like sales funnels. And how do you quantify the leads and qualify the leads? And how do you optimize for conversions? And then how do you automate the whole process? So in a way, it's just running on its own and you're looking at a summary sheet and you're happy with what's happening in terms of marketing and sales. So when you look at the websites today, there are small and medium businesses that has like the end goal is somebody getting a call or getting a contact form submitted or book an appointment. These are mostly like the coaches, restaurants, real estate agents, for any small business that need some sales volume. And then there are e-commerce sites. Basically, you have a product to sell, or even you have an informational product that you can sell, and where people pay online and download it, or they buy a product, they get it delivered. So one of the giants in the e-commerce industry is Amazon. And the power of Amazon is not just their own products, it's the economics of scale. If you go to Amazon, they have products from all the suppliers. And that is where Jeff Bezos realized the scalability, and then how they're became a leader in the industry. So one of the things I see lacking in the small, medium businesses, you can't really partner up in terms of like, how you can put somebody else's products that on your website, or how can you collaborate. It's kind of like challenging, but there are ways that you can really do those things and leverage the same audience set in a complementary way. So for example, like talking about the small businesses, the end goal is, we want to generate business, and we want to capture these leads. And how we are capturing these leads basically needs to be by understanding who your ideal customer is, and then how the ideal customer is responding to what you're offering. So it's not like, you sell anymore. It's all about understanding the customer. And if you have a product or service that matches their requirements, that's great. Then we look into how do you optimize those things. And in marketing, there used to be like business to consumer and business to business, but that doesn't exist anymore. It's all about human to human. How do we make an impact in somebody's life by offering a service or by providing a product for them? So you're creating a relationship at a human to human level, and we want them to keep coming back and using that services, and then creating that loyalty around what you offer is the key. Because if you look at a lot of towns, okay, let's say there's 100,000 population, and then if you look at your ideal customer, there might be only 5,000 people. That number is not going to grow. So how do you create loyalty around what you offer and bring them back to your business is where you can really take advantage of automation as well. So let's look at a customer journey. This is like a very simple way of putting it together. We want people to be aware of our business and services, and then they show some interest. And then once they are on the website, or they saw an ad on Facebook or Google, they make a decision, and okay, let's take a look at it. They're on the website and they looked at the service or product, and then either they called the business or booked an appointment or completed a contact form or requested a quote. And for e-commerce businesses, it's buying a product. And in e-commerce, it's slightly different because of the way how there is a lot of data involved and how this all can be optimized. So let's look at the e-commerce customer journey. So on top of what we have, like the awareness, consideration, conversions, but you also want to create that loyalty and brand ambassador that always talks about your business, and they keep coming back and they're influencing the purchase decisions. It's almost like old word of mouth. So you always want to maintain that while you're building the top of the funnels. So there are basically two types of lead generation funnels, or sales funnels, if you call it. It all starts with, there has to be awareness, and they consider the product and they either convert or they don't. And what we're going to really explore is how some of these systems can be implemented in terms of understanding their behavior once they're on the website, but how they're finding a business online these days. Everybody goes to Google, and it's one of the leading search engines. I mean, there's Bing and there's a lot of other things, but they have the major market share. And then there are social media platforms. There's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. And all of these are also a way of platforms that can be used to generate some traffic. And then the referrals. So for example, if you have a directory listing, or if you send an email newsletter, they always come back and purchase something from you. And then there are press releases, like, it's almost like getting free PR when you have a new product and whatnot, and you made an announcement or you got an exposure in the newspaper, and the people who saw this news, like, okay, let's go and check it out, what this is about. And then there is social media, and there is and all of these traffic generators leads to a website, because this is where the website acts as like your 24/7 salesperson for you. Because if somebody calls and inquiring about service and products, if you're not open or not, or what is this about a product, you can give all this information right up front on the website. And then a simple way of looking at how people can use it is, I need some information, I'm looking at this information, and giving them the opportunity to explore more about your business before they can get in touch with you. Because it's not like, you're looking at everybody as your customer. What we're trying to find out is who is the ideal customer that actually spends X amount of money and they are loyal to my business. And when you look at any of these platforms, there is paid platforms as well. So Google has its Google Ads, and Facebook has Facebook Ad Manager, and there are banner ads. So this is a simple sales funnel in terms of how people navigate from the website. So once they're on the website, you want to have some call to actions, and then opt in, or even like booking an appointment. Like, you want to lead them from, 1, 2, 3. These steps needs to be completed, but you don't want to get everybody completing those steps. You want like very specific customer that fits into where you can make a difference or offer value. And you want them complete this, and you want to track these things. And this is where Google Analytics, and there's a lot of tools that's available that you can use it. And when we talk about, like, for example, Amazon, like you are on Amazon and you're looking at like certain products and you didn't buy it, but Amazon has a way of tagging each of these products with your like the IP and computer ID and your cookies. So they can exactly pinpoint these are the products that you looked at. And then you either get an email from them, hey, you left these in the cart, or you create this wish list. So the data is really the key. And Amazon has that data. So as a small business, every website has cookies, and it's by default. But how we are setting up these cookies and how we are using that data for our lead generation is where the marketing and sales comes in. So if you look at some of these lead funnels, there are different types. There are simple landing page where somebody wants to just capture an email subscriber, sign up to my newsletter. And some of them are like very specific in terms of getting the codes into their CRM, like their customer data. So for example, I need a code for my roof. So I go to somebody's website and I fill out my information, and then all the information gets added to a customer relationship management system, and that can be automated too. And then the sales landing pages, they are pretty much the product category pages or abandoned cart pages that we usually see on sites like Amazon. And then appointment requests. And this is something not many businesses or self-employed people don't leverage that. Like, you can specifically set up, okay, Wednesday, like 9 to 5 a.m., I have like 6 slots, and I'm going to generate traffic specifically for that day for those slots, knowing that the customer is interested in our service. So some landing page examples. For example, Streamline Technologies, their technology company right here in Kamloops. And when you go to their landing pages, yes, you can see there is no top navigation at all. There's no other links except a chat request or a request to demo. And these landing pages are specifically built to avoid any leakages in the traffic. What happens is, normally when somebody's on the website, when you have like 6 or 7 clicks, okay, they click on it and then they leave. And once they lost, like, after 3 clicks, they're totally on a different page, and they lost in that thought process, and they don't convert better. So what we have usually seen is, let's say if you have like 10 clicks on a page, basically you're splitting that one person and offering them 10 different ways to go. But how do you bring them back to one or two ways in an optimal way so they're actually completing that the process in terms of why they're there on the website in the first place? And then from the marketing perspective, you want to make sure this traffic is relevant to the website. So the landing pages, 99% of the time, you don't find them on Google organic search. You only see them when somebody clicks on an ad. And then you're on the website because you clicked on the website, the ad, because it's relevant to you. And then you come to the website, and then the intention is for you to convert. And on the other side, there's RapidCall, again, another Kamloops-based company. If you look at their quote request, it's customized in a way that, like, before it hits their email on their CRMs, we know exactly why somebody contacted that business. So if somebody contacts for heating and plumbing, that email gets delivered to the CRM and to the specific person responsible for that. So you're not looking at, like, who is doing what. You're automating some of these processes. And then looking at the product-based landing pages, for example, I refer to Amazon, and this is one of our clients in Hawaii, and we know exactly what times of the day the tours are selling most, and we optimize any traffic that's coming to the website based on those times, and the tours show up in terms of the availability for that particular day and particular time. So what happens is we're not spending tons of dollars in marketing and generating traffic. We know exactly what type of customers we want on what times during the day. And then once they're on the website, what type of product we are showing based on their expressed interest. So we're connecting the dots all along. So we are engaging and we are creating their experience. And then, of course, like, we want them to book a tour here, or, in case of Amazon, we want them to purchase a product. So what we basically looked at so far is matching the customer journey with leads funnel. So, for example, on top of the funnel, they're prospects. When I talked about 100,000 people turning into 5,000, that 5,000 is your prospects. You want them to be aware of your products and services. And then you move them down in the funnel using a lead generation process. So the lead generation process more looks like the landing pages that we looked at. And then once they express the interest and they're making a decision, this is where the lead nurturing happens. So lead nurturing in the sense, for example, somebody came to the website and they didn't convert, they didn't sign up, they didn't buy. But based on the cookies and then the keyword they searched, or the banner ad they searched, or if it is from social media, you know exactly where they are from the moment they initiated the journey from out of your website. So if they're on Facebook and they came to your website, you know exactly where they originated. So you can set up certain campaigns in terms of how do you show a different type of ads to the same person, so you keep engaging with them knowing that this person actually moved down in the funnel, so they're more likely to be a customer. And sometimes these can be divided into MQL and SQL. So it's marketing qualified leads and then sales qualified leads. So if there are marketing qualified leads, sometimes you just want to run some lead nurturing campaigns. And if it is a sales qualified lead, do you want to assign a salesperson, or do you want to pick up the phone and call them and see where you can help them? And this is all after you getting their information, like why they're on the website in the first place. And then once they are there, they convert, and this is where the action happens and there is a purchase. And then once they are your customer, you have their information, and then how do you build that loyalty and growth? And this is where the automation really comes in handy. So I'm just going to cover through all those we just talked about. Sorry, just one second. I'm trying to go back. So we're going to look at each of these lead generation, lead nurturing, and purchasing on its own. And then we will look at them together again, combining with customer journey. And then hopefully that all makes sense. So The lead generation is primarily exists for like, we want somebody aware of our business and we want to turn these strangers into our visitors. And then usually you can use like social media, display ads. And then the goal is creating lots of content. One thing that happened with the current situation is people are more used to be on their phone and watching Netflix, or they're on the internet all the time. And a recent study showed that like just in the last couple of months, the consumption of online content increased by 8 hours. And that's a lot. And how do we leverage that in terms of proposing what we have and then creating our own data in terms of, is it my best customer that fits into my criteria? And then how do you bring them down in the funnel? And this is where the lead nurturing happens. So somebody saw our ad, they clicked on the website, the ad, and then they came to the website either looking at a particular service or they are on an intent to place an order for a pizza, for example. And that's your audience, basically your own customer data. And at different points of time, you want to capture their information. Like that's the key here. So what if somebody doesn't buy? Are we still getting some information about this customer? And then if we are doing it, how are we going to leverage that, like in our newsletters and then in follow-up campaigns? So once they moved from the awareness campaigns to lead nurturing, and then they purchase. Basically, it's a phone call or a form submission or purchasing your product. And then we usually see lead magnets on these landing pages. It's part of the sales funnel in the sense that you want to incentivize people to get that deal done faster. It's nothing new. It's all sales, like, how you offer discounts and whatnot to get the close. But online, it works differently. The lead magnets can be as simple as a free video bonus or a case study or a PDF, or even like, if it is product, 10% discount or 20% discount, whatever that is. And then the intent here is close that lead. And how we're going to build loyalty from there is totally different ballgame, because now you have their email, you have their phone number most likely, and then their purchasing behavior in terms of what they're buying online or what kind of services. So for example, talking about going to chiropractor or lawyers, why somebody approached you, and how do you turn them into your brand ambassadors. It's almost like, we went to this business and they did such a good job and they want to talk about it. And then creating those influencers, not just one-on-one word of mouth, but also on social media and using Google reviews. And then these people will keep coming back to your business. And then the loyalty offers is, this is something we have seen like in terms of points, from credit cards to restaurants or coffee shops offering these loyalty. And you can do that online as well. If somebody comes to the business for the first time, okay, have a haircut on us. And that leaves them with the business for the rest of the life, most likely. I mean, depending on how good job that business is doing. And there are a lot of things that happened, especially in the last couple of months. Business that already has influencers and already have loyalty offers and having the brand ambassadors, especially in the retail sector, they have grown because there are more and more people who are online and they are talking about these products. And then obviously we want to purchase something, and it's one of those habits psychologically people have, like not feeling good about myself. Okay, I'm going to grab some wine, or I'm going to go for shopping, or I'm going to go to a movie. And these psychological way of our behaviors are basically leveraged into sales funnels here. So basically we looked at the sales funnel in terms of how a business can create awareness, and then how do you create lead nurturing campaigns, and then how do you convert them, and then create loyalty and growth after that purchase. So This is something we just discussed. I don't want anybody to overwhelm when they look at it, like what's happening here. So I'll just break it down. So this is a 360 view of any business that is online and has a website can implement in their business, like with very simple, affordable tools. And these are powerful in the sense how they work. Because when you're generating traffic, like if you look at the first section on the left-hand side, you're generating traffic. And if you see, there is Google search, Instagram posts, and Facebook. And I'm assuming this is all organic traffic. It can be paid traffic too, depending on the business. But where you want to really spend ad dollars is sending people to specific pages that are built to convert. And these are usually the landing pages or sales pages. And then there are different ways how you can generate traffic based on knowing audiences in terms of this is my ideal customer. So I'm going to show an ad. So they clicked on the ad, they come to the sales page. And then if they convert on the sales page, they go to the order page and they add to cart and then they purchase your product. And most companies stop there. But where big companies really leverage is pulling that data into their sales CRMs. It can be Salesforce or anything else. And then combining that with the power of email marketing campaigns, like using MailChimp or Constant Contact. So basically, once somebody places an order, you know what they purchased and what type of customer the person is, and then how do you create some MailChimp campaigns into like newsletter campaigns so they keep coming back. And this is where you continuously update them with what's happening or new product launches and whatnot. So let's say somebody is on sales page and they didn't convert. So you send them to a sales video page and basically they look at it. Okay, now it makes sense because the person who can read and purchase, they went through a different funnel. And then the person who wants to get extra information, they went through a video, and videos always convert better. And with the video consumption even growing every year, and even with Zoom that we are using, there are a lot of people got used to just sit down and watch videos. And these pages usually convert better. And then let's say somebody is all on sales video page, but they didn't convert. So basically you downsell them with a different product or offer them something else. Basically, this is where the incentives comes in place. And if you have a product, rather than selling, $1,000 product or $100 product, you sell them like $10 or $5 product. And if they say yes, purchase it. And after the purchase process, you send them to the previous offer, basically what they just refused, because you provided some value by giving that downsell. Let's say this is only $2 today, or sign up for $1 deal for a week. And then as soon as they signed up, it gives an opportunity. You build some trust, and you can always upsell them with something else that's relevant in terms of how their behavior. And these upsell pages can be changed in real time in terms of what button they clicked and whatnot. And then again, once the process is complete, you send them a thank you email and then get that added to a CRM or send it to MailChimp campaign. So in a nutshell, this can be implemented in any small business, whether it's a real estate agent or a chiropractor or a lawyer or dentist. And the tools that are available are really inexpensive, and a lot of people understand how to implement this whole setup. But once you set up, all you have to look at is a dashboard that shows what is really working and what is not working and what campaigns that can be tweaked. And this is where agencies come in place as well to help the businesses to implement these systems. So I'm just going through some examples in terms of observing what's happening in real world, looking at some of these lead funnels. So here we have a dental clinic. So the dentists generate traffic using social media and search engines, and there is an opt-in page. And then if they opt in, they go to a sales page, basically that offers a product to sell or book an appointment. So as soon as they place an order, they get a thank you email, and then you turn them into a customer. And then as soon as they go to a calendar, they are booking an appointment. So the process is complete in terms of how you funnel them from opt-in page to sales page, and then, excuse me, two different order page and calendar, two different landing pages there. And then the thank you email, and then obviously the email gets added to their database of emails or CRM. So this is 10x funnel. Everybody knows Grant Cardone and 10x. When I looked at some of his funnels, his traffic gets generated from Facebook or any channels, and then it goes to an order page. These are just examples, so don't worry about like what's on the page and whatnot. They're usually long. The landing pages for big ticket items, like if you're selling a $5,000 item, you had to convince somebody why they're paying that $5,000 online and putting their credit card in. And then once somebody's on the order page, there's an upsell. Okay, I work with these people, and basically there's a conference coming up or courses coming up. And then if somebody says, no, I don't want to sign up to this, immediately there is other downsell. Basically, it shows $100 offer. Okay, try this for $100 this year. The intention is basically they are trying to get the information because they pre-qualified who this customer is that came to an order page, but they don't want to lose that. Let's say if it costs $60 to acquire a new customer, even though you're giving it away for $99, the hope is they turn into your customer. So once they turn into customer, there's an upsell opportunity. And usually this is where you can build loyalty in terms of how you're selling your product and how this process can be optimized. So, Tony Robbins and Dean Gorski, like all these people have different funnels too. When you look at them, when I say these, coaches and whatnot, this can be a chiropractor, this can be a lawyer, and any small business that can be implemented some form or shape of this lead funnels here. So here they are generating traffic mostly on social media. And once somebody's on the order form, there's a lot of upsells and downsells that's happening. And here the clear intent is getting the dollars from wherever this traffic came from. But in the way that this traffic is optimized or pre-qualified by showing ads to relevant people on Google Ads or on social media channels or even on YouTube, you're pre-qualifying them. So it's not millions of people visiting the website, it's very pre-qualified traffic that's coming, so they're more likely to convert. So we looked at some of these small businesses, and I just also want to look at a product type sales funnel, like for example, Amazon. You're on a sales page and you ordered it, and then as soon as you buy the product, I don't know if you notice, on Amazon, it shows products on the bottom, like similar products that you looked at, like no matter what product you go to. And that information is basically collected based on what you're doing on the website. And for small businesses, like if you're selling online, you can always implement something like this, but not in real time because we're not like Amazon. They have artificial intelligence that's pulling these products in real time based on what you searched in the inbox to what you're reading information online, and also where you're clicking. Let's say you're buying a book and you're on Amazon and you looked at it and you want to get a preview of the book. And then as soon as you see the preview, they're actually studying these actions in real time. So the book's recommended on the bottom changes based on how you're responding to what you're reading. And as an example, if you're looking for a sales optimization book or social media book, you're reading the content, but you're almost close to the first page, the preview, and then you just want to close. But as soon as you are about to close, the products gets updated or they show you a different offer. and let's say you purchase something, and then Amazon sends this order confirmation to you, and usually you see some kind of special offers from the same seller as well. So it just never ends. But what extent do you want to implement in your business depends on your business goals and objectives, and how big or how much investments you want to put into this in the long term. So we have reviewed how the awareness piece works in terms of lead generation, and how the customer intention and decision-making process can be used for lead nurturing. And then once there is a close, how do you build loyalty and whatnot? And then here, how do you automate this process? So this is something I borrowed from one of the IBM people. Uh, so if anybody comes to a website, the bare minimum you want to capture is their information, their email, first name, last name, and depending on the business, you want to find out why they are there. Either it can be just a box, or you can give them options to select. And then you're trying to make it easier for them to contact you. And for some of these systems, like once they register, you want to score them. So if you have like 4 check boxes, if they checked all 4 of them, okay, that's 10 out of 10 out of 10. So let's move them to a landing page in real time, and then send them a welcome email. And then if they open the email, what are you triggering afterwards? Are you sending them a text message, or you're sending them something else, or you want your salesperson to follow up? And this all happens in real time. And especially with retail, the text messaging has been really good in terms of, they offer 10% off if you go to like Urban Outfitters or any of these retail stores, and you subscribe to them and you get the 10% off. But the next time when there is sale, you get the same text message. And this is like auto trigger. They're not texting 10,000 people. There's one text that gets routed to how I responded. So I saw the text, and then I walked into the store, and they use the GPS location. They know you're at the store, and then you purchase something that gets added to the customer relationship management system. And then they know exactly whether you're spending any money or you're just walking in. And if you're spending, $50 in that store, how do you turn that into, 3 times, into, 300%? Basically making you spend more money, by offering more incentives and more sales. And all of this process can be automated no matter the business. And then there are tools available. And what I'm really hoping is, just because of the COVID, we have time to look into our individual marketing and sales funnels, and then tweak the websites and look at the traffic that's been coming through in the last 2 years. And then also how that traffic has flown on the website, and what kind of information that we're capturing. And if you're not capturing enough information, we really want to narrow it down in terms of how the information is being collected, and then how it gets added to an email marketing platform or a customer relationship management system. So in a nutshell, that's how it works in terms of sales funnel. A lot of people talk about, oh, we're going to put the ads out there, we get the traffic, and that's where it ends. But unless you qualify and quantify those leads that are coming in, and put a number on it and say, this customer cost me X amount and I generated like 5X out of that customer. Without that, it doesn't make sense. And I have seen a lot of ad dollars getting wasted when the business don't know what exactly happening once the customer is on the website. So that's it from me. And I think we can open it for questions, Jeremy.
You bet. Let's do that. Actually, I'm gonna lead off here first and just let everybody on the call know that if you're interested in exploring online systems with Krishna, we will pay for 1 hour of consultation time with Krishna. So you can make an appointment with him, and he will sit down with you and walk you through sort of the front end of how this process will be set up. So just everybody on the call knows that. Krishna, for me, I understand the sales funnel process and how it functions. What I would like you to talk a little bit about for me is the content piece on your website, on your social media, and how important that the look, the feel, the design, the language is to pulling people into the funnel system.
Yeah, totally. So everybody responds to a different message. So it's about understanding. We know our services way better than anybody else, but understanding the customer in the sense what message they're responding to, and then what page they're leading to. So for example, for auto dealerships, so you saw like a 0% finance deal, and when they click on that link, if they're going to the inventory page, looking at all these inventory, that's not why they're on that page. They're looking for the 0% finance and what are the vehicles that qualifies for the 0% finance. And that's where you're losing them. So creating content around the expectations of the consumer and completing that journey is the key. So the design has to be relevant, the message has to be relevant, and the call to actions in terms of, you know, how Facebook offers sign up or learn more, or even on Google, you see these call to actions. What kind of call to action you're using can be tested as well. We call it like A/B testing. So are people responding to learn more or get more information? And how do you collect that data so it's making sense to you? These are simple things, but on Facebook, we can get at like, you know, less than half a cent per view. And when you really qualify these customers and tie that into, if I'm selling $100 product and if I'm spending $6 or $7 to get that customer one time, and then looking at the long-term value of that customer, it's usually 5 to 6 times. But like you mentioned, it's a good point. Like the design matters, the messaging matters, and then how they are coming onto the website or what pages they are going on to matters. And these days, like I said, the video is huge, and you can put it on YouTube, you can put it on Vimeo, and you can load it on Facebook, LinkedIn. There's no limit in terms of how people are consuming. And I'm sure, like, you know, I'm creating some videos that I'm putting out for Live to Inspire as well. The content that I'm seeing on Twitter, I get about like 17,000 impressions for those tweets, like within a week. You know, that's the power, like how much we can reach and what type of people that we are reaching. And you can narrow them down geographically, but I don't see boundaries in when it comes to online. You know, can you offer a Reiki session for somebody living in San Francisco? Yes, you can. Can you offer a dance class? Yes, you can. So there's a lot of things that you can do just using what we have. I mean, using technology.
Okay.
Hope that answered your question, Jeremy.
Absolutely. Are there other questions? You guys will have to unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question. While we're just waiting a few seconds to see if there's any other questions. One of the things that's always a bit of a challenge is how much do you need developed before you launch a sales process? So, you know, you're a small artist, for example, who's trying to put your products online. Do you need a well-established website? Do you need a well-established Instagram account, for example? Or can you start from zero and sort of build something that's scaled to what you need?
You know, I always recommend people to test it, collect data, start small. A lot of clients that we work with today, like they start with like Wix or Weebly, but you understand the data and you understand how these people are converting, and then how do you maximize that? So a lot of these tools are free to test as well. So that's a beauty. Like, for example, I was going through like a consultation with like, they're spending $20,000 a day on Facebook, just retail drop shipping. And when we looked at it, can we really spend $20,000? Yes, you can. But the way we optimize the campaign is there is 70% of the spend in the first 2 days, basically testing and creating the ideal customers. And then the 30% is split between 15% lead nurturing and then 15% for closing and the loyalty development. And then from day 3 onwards, it all split like 50-50. So it's all about understanding the numbers and then how much it's costing to bring in that customer.